Oh, lol. My mic was muted. Lol. I think the people actually haven't heard this, and now my desktop audio was on. Oh my god, this was a fail. But welcome anyways.
Sorry guys, we're still getting used to this whole streaming situation.
Yeah. We are getting used slowly.
So I guess we're gonna run this just like the last one. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to respond to those.
We could just fake it. We could just go back to the starting screen and make the intro again, and then cut it later. But fuck, this is live, so we can't. We can't actually do that. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what we should do first, because we've got no questions as of yet.
There will be questions soon, I think. And I mean, the Rick and Morty screen is really entertaining all of us.
Why don't we discuss GrandMA2 while we wait? all the
all those rumors and whatnot.
Dude, I don't know. It's the one you sent me this morning of the mock-up. I don't know if that kind of looks like just one of the Chinese rip-offs. I bet if I go into Alibaba, I can find that.
Like a very good Chinese rip-off.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine who twiz, and he was saying when he's in Asia, he gets knockoffs all the time, and he doesn't really ever find issues with the desks. He says he crashes more consoles just telling the console to do something it doesn't want to do than he does with those. So that's interesting.
It is.
I'd expect the software to be flaky AF. I mean, I can't expect. And I don't know why festivals are even allowing fake consoles in, because couldn't MA go after the actual festival itself as opposed to going after the manufacturer?
I don't know. Like, I think they're doing a lot of effort, putting a lot of effort into like finding the Chinese copies and the people who are building it and all that. But of course, there are a lot of people doing this. So yeah. First question is coming in there.
What have you got at the X button? Do you actually have anything on your X buttons, Lucas?
Like, as my temperature file is still in like. I'm still in the progress of making it perfect, so I have no fixed stuff on the X keys yet, but there will be some in the future.
I'll go over mine now if you want to switch to my screen quickly.
Yeah, it switched.
Cool. Jojo, if you can you want to just see the actual X keys, or do you also want to see all of the user 1 and user 2 keys? I'll start going over the other stuff, but if you want to see the user 1 and user 2 keys, just say so. So, if I hop onto mine quickly. So the first thing I've got is I've just got my atomic 3K strobes. I've labeled them as 3K, but honestly, whatever strobe the rig has got will be these. So I've got a flash, the strobe, and then I do two groups. It's either an even odd or like a pattern or something for the strobes. Then it's just a blinder, so this would be the entire rigs, and it's got a 0.4 second, I think, off time, so that it doesn't go on and just go straight off. And then I've got the random strobes I've got a random strobe for the wash, a full strobe for the wash, and random strobe for the spot. Here I've got like a crowd that just switches the atomics on and the blinders on, and that just swaps in the rig. And then this is a rate master learn thingamajiggy for a rate master I've got somewhere. And yes, honestly, I would expect GrandMA2 to already be a trademark, given that it's the logical next number for the console line. I'm sure they've also got like GrandMA4, GrandMA5 trademarked. If they don't, they're being probably not the best idea. So just to go over the user keys quickly. First, I've got a couple of groups that just so I've got a couple of views. So I've got groups, a clock, some faders here in case I need some extra faders, fixture sheet, command line, group masters. Then down here I've got what I call clock lel. It basically just puts clocks on all the screens.
Lol.
Because I thought that would be funny.
What the fuck?
Then I've got some action buttons in case I need some action buttons and an MA tricks. Then I've got this macro which just does the fader, like when the faders move. Because, why not?
Like you have too much time?
Layout view. I had a lot of time the one day. Then I've got a layout view created that just takes all my groups and puts them into layout view so I don't have to go store each one. Then I've got RNM, so it just puts all the screens to Rick and Morty. Then I've got a macro from Lucas, bread, which just puts bread on all the screens. Then I've got a couple. I don't need that macro anymore. Ultralight. Then it's just a group master reset, so it puts all the group masters up. I've got store blank execs that allow me to store these macros because they're execs on this layout view in case I need to. Off for all basically offs every playback in the show file. So all movements, it basically offs everything. Play is just a macro that will take all my screens, no matter what view they're on, and set it straight to the view I want when I play. And then there's a macro called this fixes everything in case I fuck up badly and I don't even know what I did, so I can press that and it'll fix it.
Sounds great.
Yeah, no, GrandMA2 would be trademarked for. Honestly, pull up MA Lighting's history here. MA Lighting timeline. If we pull this out, because I think MA1 was out for like about 20 years before MA2 came along. Yeah, product history. So we go, the MA1 was released in 1997, and the MA2 was released in 2008, so 11 years. And I mean, 2019 would be 11 years. Yeah, 2019 would be 11 years since the MA2 was introduced. So it would make sense that it would be in the. Honestly, if it were up to me, I'd ask them to focus more on the software of MA2 than anything else, because I think MA2 is pretty good in terms of hardware. But
yeah, that's what I think as well.
Hey.
So I don't really think that they need to refresh the hardware in order to get more steps ahead.
I never went over my user 2 keys. So my user 2 keys, I've got another like lull thing that just sets all the screens to this collage. And a couple other macros that take stuff to selective, lamp on, lamp off stuff, and 2 other macros that don't actually do anything anymore. I need to get rid of those. Yeah, so that is all my X keys, I guess. If there's any other questions. Yeah, but honestly, I wouldn't see. I can't see MA3 being adopted for quite some time, because you look at all the. I mean, when MA2 came out, most of the touring bands took a good 2 to 3 years to actually adopt it before it was the. And even now, you still get the MA1s popping up every now and then.
Yeah.
So I can't see. Can you explain a little on using agenda? Didn't we just release a tutorial on that?
Yeah, we just recently did a tutorial on it, so
Yes,
it should be clear
Tom,
from this.
we
But
do
if
need
you have
full HD
specific
screen.
questions on agenda, just ask them. No problem.
Sorry for interrupting there, because Tom, I do agree with you. We do need full HD screens. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't think there's much that I'd actually I'd want changed. I think it's in a pretty good place at the moment. There's a German question. Randall, what would you like to know about using agenda? We did just release a tutorial on it, so if you got like a specific question, let us know on that, or else after this you can go watch that tutorial. That covers about everything.
Okay. I try to answer the German question. Hey, wenn ich beim Executor eine Playlist mache, wähle die Lampen an, habe meine Show und möchte sie dann aushaben. Wie geht das? Aber wenn ich sie aushaben möchte, will ich, dass es weitergeht. Okay. Ich lese aus deiner Frage, dass du noch nicht lange mit GrandMA arbeitest. Grundsätzlich ist ein Executor kann alles Mögliche sein. Was du jetzt meinst, ist, dass du einen Executor hast, dem eine Sequenz zugewiesen ist, und in dieser Sequenz kannst du mehrere Queues haben. Und was du jetzt möchtest, ist, wenn ich das richtig lese, ein Queue, in dem du deine Lampen nutzt und irgendwas damit machst, und dann einen weiteren Queue, in dem du die Lampen wieder ausmachst. Das ist im Prinzip ganz einfach. Du speicherst den ersten Queue, baust dir den im Programmer genauso, wie du dir den vorstellst, speicherst den mit Store auf einem Executor als Q1, und wenn du dann den zweiten Queue gebaut hast, wo du die Lampen wieder ausmachst, also gehst her, Lampe auswählen, Punkt oder add 0, please, und speicherst das Ganze dann in dem Executor als Q2. Da fragt er dich, möchtest du 9 Q anlegen? Wenn du sagst Store Executor, dann fragt er dich 9 Q, oder überschreiben, sagst du 9 Q. Und dann hast du 2 Qs. Im ersten deinen ersten Look, in dem die Lampen an sind, und im zweiten Q deinen zweiten Look, in dem die Lampen aus sind. So funktioniert das erstmal grundsätzlich. Du musst dazu wissen, standardmäßig ist Tracking aktiviert. Tracking bedeutet, dein zweiter Q sieht genauso aus wie der erste. der einzige Unterschied ist, das, was im zweiten Queue gespeichert ist. Heißt, alles, was im ersten Queue gespeichert ist und im zweiten nicht verändert wird, ist im zweiten immer noch exakt gleich. Alles, was du geändert hast, ist im zweiten logischerweise geändert. Heißt, wenn du im ersten Queue den Dimmer anmachst und im zweiten den Dimmer nicht ausmachst, bleibt der Dimmer an. Wenn du in dem zweiten Queue ausmachst den Dimmer, dann ist der Dimmer auch aus. Ich hoffe, ich konnte dir deine Frage beantworten und dann würde ich mal weitermachen mit der nächsten Frage, beziehungsweise die an Ethan weitergeben, weil es eine englische ist. Okay, let's switch back into English.
Do you use load anywhere? Yes, I do. I actually use load I use go-to and load equally. Like for my main playback screen, if I bring it over here, I've got a load macro down there that I can use to load the stuff. But yeah, I don't like have it assigned. That's pretty much the only place I actually have it assigned. But I use go-to in a couple of things that I use many on the screen, and yeah. Lucas, got anything to say?
I really like load, like when I have to jump inside of my queue list. When they forgot about the second verse and they are proceeding with the song, like in a band situation, and I have to skip some queues. And then I have a load button, and I can just select the next queue that would come now that they are leaving out something. And then I just press go, and I will skip all the queues that I don't want to have in between. So this is where load really comes in handy.
Yeah, load can... I mean, for band situations, I think it's a lot more useful than really EDM which is my focus, obviously. I think it's quite... I mean, actually, the place I use load a lot is on my dimmer queue list over here, because if you tell it to do the dim tilt fly out, and then you want it to go down, no matter what speed you're at, it seems to mess up your lights if you go through that one first. It creates weird things. Yeah, it's probably the only place I use it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think the people have to come up with questions. Take some time this time.
Do you want to discuss that other thing in the meantime?
Yeah, we could just talk about our idea with the GrandMA2 Tutorials channel. So we are right now thinking about doing more and more stuff on GrandMA Tutorials, but obviously we both are pretty limited in time when it's about doing YouTube videos. We are doing other stuff besides YouTube. So we can't focus completely on YouTube, and we can't keep a consistent upload schedule, as you may have already seen.
And upload schedule is pretty broke.
Yeah, it's pretty broke. And this is where we thought you guys are so motivated and are doing so much great content on YouTube and elsewhere, and we thought if there are so many motivated people out there that really want to help others, we could just ask them if they are ready to collaborate with the GrandMA2 Tutorials channel. So
coming, there will be a video coming out in the next couple of days after the stream to explain stuff. Have we subbed Christian Jackson?
Ethan? Obviously, yes.
I think after... Because I can tell a bit of a story. There's a story. Christian Jackson was probably the first channel that actually got me into MA. I can actually thank... Well, actually, no. We did a school production when I was still doing sound at a theatre in Johannesburg. For those of you that don't know, I live in Johannesburg, South Africa. We did a production there, and they had an MA2, and that's where I first found out about the MA2 platform, and that the old D they hired, he told me to go download MA on PC and MA3D, and that's how I learned MA, and then I started looking for tutorials, and I found Christian Jackson. So I guess he would be the second person that actually helped me get into the MA world. So yeah, so I've been subbed to him since he was at like 19 or 20,000 subs.
And what's funny as well is that I have also been sub for a long time to Christian, and we actually met in the comment section of one of his videos. It was about, I don't really know, was it about temp faders? I think it was about temp faders, and it was one of his stream videos, like GrandMA streams. And one asked in the question how this temp fader thing is working. And then we both tried to explain it to him, and he didn't really get it, and we both made a video for that one person to explain it. And
I remember that.
This way, we met each other, and we had this crazy idea to do a new channel with just videos that help others with GrandMA2.
I think that was my
this
first
is how it started.
video ever.
Yeah, it was your first video ever.
Yeah, now it's got like...
it did pretty
well.
A pretty popular one on your channel, yeah.
No, but then the color picker one, that one got like 60. But then the color picker one came out, and that's the one that made my channel. If it wasn't for that, I would be nothing.
I think the color pick is just a trademark. Everyone knows it.
I've started seeing so many, because whenever, like, we love MA Lighting, the Instagram page on Instagram, the Instagram page on Instagram. Every now and then I see posts pop up of people using color pickers, and it's the one I put out, and I can tell
it's
that
funny
because it's the same orientation, same colors, and all that kind of stuff. What is the most effective way to become better, faster at writing macros? Have command line feedback open all the time.
Yeah,
just because then, like, if you want to do so, I think it would actually be pretty cool if MA implemented like a thing where you could press like almost on a keyboard when you press record for the macro, and then you do your keystrokes, so you can like actually use the hard keys to do it instead of having to type it out and stuff. If you want views,
so that you actually see what is stored into the macro.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, as opposed to having to manually, like, if you want to say, if you want to create a thing that says like copy group 10 at group 11, if you could like actually type it out, because that would teach you how to write macros pretty quickly. The other way is the MA command line is pretty much, if you're just trying to do stuff that you can already do with hard keys, you can literally look at what the hard key says and type that into the macro and it'll do it. So there's that. Or there's Act Lighting's thing. I'll put a link to that, because Act Lighting has a whole like document on how to, on command line and that kind of stuff.
If you want views, just put color picker in the title. Yeah, would work. 10 out of 10 would work. So there's a German question again. Könnte man das Thema Makros vielleicht etwas näher erklären? Also welche nützlichen Sachen man damit so alles machen kann? Ja, ich kann dir mal so grob erklären, Thema Makros. Thema Makros ist ja, ich meine, Makros an sich sagt das ja schon. Du kannst im Prinzip mit Makros machen, was du möchtest. Irgendeinen Ablauf, den du öfter mal brauchst, kannst du dir mit Makros automatisieren. Und wenn es jetzt darum geht, Makros zu finden, die du vielleicht brauchen könntest, aber nicht wusstest, dass es geht, oder einfach mal was zur Inspiration brauchst, da sind die Predefined Macros wirklich sehr hilfreich. Also das, was du hier in dieser Liste alles aufrufen kannst, schau dir da mal ein paar von an, klick die einfach an, dann siehst du, was die machen. Das ist auch oftmals hier hinten im Infofeld sehr schön erklärt, was denn dieses Makro jetzt genau macht. Und schau einfach, was du da so für Makros findest, die du in deinen Workflow integrieren kannst. Also das ist, glaube ich, einer der besten Tipps, um so ein bisschen Inspiration zu bekommen für Makros. Jo. Back to other questions.
Have you experience with plugins? Lucas does, I don't. But actually, that's a nice segue into the whole collaboration thing again, because...
Oh, yes.
Do you want to explain that?
Yes, okay, so I have played around with plugins, with Lua plugins for a while now, and I thought they're a really nice solution if you have complex things that you would usually do manually, when it's about configuring a whole color picker, or like doing a batch type of tasks where you repeat the same thing over and over again for like a batch of 10 fixtures or something. So plugins come in really handy with that, but obviously learning all the Lua stuff is pretty hard. So it took a time to get a little bit into it, and I'm not completely into it till now. So there's a lot that I have to learn. And yeah, concerning the collaboration and plugins, there's another thing we could spoiler right now. We are in contact with Jason Giaffo. Could be that you guys have already heard of him, because he's doing great Lua plugin stuff for MA since a while now, and he has also some YouTube videos out showing how those plugins work and how he has done all the things. And yeah, we are working with him to get out some Lua plugin tutorial stuff, and we are really excited how this will turn out. Okay, there's another German question. Hallo, ich habe das Pixel Mapping noch nicht ganz verstanden und wollte fragen, ob ihr das kurz zusammenfassen könntet. Okay, so Pixel Mapping in 1 minute. I'll try it. Okay, für Pixel Mapping brauchst du erstmal, Sekunde, ich wechsle auf meinen Screen. Brauchst du erstmal von MA Lighting. Sekunde, warum sehe ich das hier nicht? Bitmap Fixture heißt das Ding. Hier. Leerzeichen zwischen MA Lighting. So. Du brauchst das Bitmap Fixture und du brauchst irgendeine Art von Matrix, von Lampen. Was weiß ich. Machen wir uns eine Matrix mit 10 x 10. 10 x 10 mit Dimmern. Fertig aus. 100 Stück. Patchen die 2.1 und geben der Channel ID 1 bis 100. So, fertig aus. Da haben wir sie. Gruppe brauchen wir im Prinzip nicht mal erstellen. Mache ich jetzt mal trotzdem. So haben wir eine Gruppe. Dann das Ganze im Stage View müssen wir auch nichts machen. Ne, es reicht uns, wenn wir es im Layout View machen. Also einmal Layout View und einmal den Layout Pool. Pools, Layout Pool und einmal den Group Pool. Wo haben wir ihn? Da haben wir ihn. Und dann speichere ich mal eben hier ein Layout mit den ganzen schönen Dimmern und gehe hierher und arrange die in einem Rechteck, genau, 10 x 10, Apply, Zoom to Fit. Jetzt haben wir also unsere Matrix und jetzt geht es ja um Bitmapping. Also packe ich hier außenrum jetzt im Layout View ein Rectangle. Wie funktioniert das nochmal? Nee, anders funktioniert das. Ich glaube, irgendwo gibt es die Möglichkeit, genau, hier. Da gibt es die Möglichkeit, ein Rechteck hinzuzufügen. So, dann mache ich hier um die ganze Selektion von Lampen mein Rechteck, das ich jetzt für Bitmapping verwenden möchte. Wähle hier Bitmap XY aus und ja, das wäre es auch eigentlich schon gewesen. Drück Please. So, jetzt habe ich ja noch mein Bitmapping-Fixture. Das müsste Fixture ID 1 sein. Fixture ID 1 speichere ich mir jetzt hier mal. Das ist mein Bitmapping-Fixture. Und wenn ich jetzt hierher gehe unter Video und sage, gebe irgendein Image an, so wir haben jetzt noch kein Image, müssen wir gleich machen, aber Output wäre jetzt auf jeden Fall schon mal Layout 1. Das haben wir jetzt schon mal festgesetzt. Jetzt hole ich mir hier noch einen Image-Pool hin. Und keine Ahnung, können wir mal irgendein Image importieren, vielleicht bei den Gobos oder so. Irgendwo gibt's doch bestimmt irgendwelche Bilder, die man jetzt für Demo-Geschichten mal nutzen kann, oder? Miscellaneous, ich weiß es nicht genau. Wir nehmen jetzt einfach mal das erstbeste Bitmap, was uns irgendwie hier sowas. Ach, das ist doch super. Ich brauche jetzt nur 1. Genau. Das Hochkant hat mir besser gefallen. So, jetzt haben wir also dieses Bitmap hier als Image. Die 14 ist das. So. Und jetzt kann ich die hier auswählen. Image 14. Und jetzt kann ich den Dimmer hier von dem Bitmap-Fixture erstmal anmachen. Add. Und jetzt seht ihr, jetzt haben wir im Prinzip genau das Bild, was wir eben ausgewählt haben, hier auf unseren gesamten Fixtures schön drauf gemappt. Bitmapping eben. Können jetzt hier auch zum Beispiel so Sachen wie Farbe machen. Sekunde. Da gibt es noch einen Trick zu, damit das funktioniert. Ich weiß gerade nicht genau wo. Hier genau kann man hier sagen only RGB. Irgendwie funktioniert das. Das ist wieder der Vorführeffekt jetzt. Ist völlig klar. Wenn ich sowas mache, dann funktioniert es wieder nicht. War völlig klar. Es gibt irgendeine Art und Weise, wie man das auch noch farblich einfärben kann. Ich kann natürlich alle Dimmer wählen. Ach, ich bin doch dumm. Ich habe doch überhaupt keine RGB-Lampen gepatcht. Okay, wir haben Dimmer, wir können logischerweise keine Farbe machen. Das war jetzt ziemlich low. So, ja, hier habt ihr dann die Möglichkeit natürlich noch die ganze Geschichte zu drehen und alles. Position, Rotation, genau. Hier lässt sich das drehen, logischerweise. Also das wäre Bitmapping in a nutshell. Und wenn ihr Farbe wollt, patcht euch RGB-Fixtures. Yeah. Okay.
Inexperience with VPU. Not personally, but I hear it's great if you have a Q-listed video show or that kind of thing. But it sucks if you want to if you have to busk it live or something. Anything to add? Or did I
I
cut you off there?
find Resolume better for like live
Resolume,
busking
yeah.
shows. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, there's not many LDs that are actually doing video and lighting, so I think the VPU is kind of for the few productions that are carrying one guy to do everything, and they've got predefined video for every song, and it's just running through that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's really it's good if it's for the right. I know for a fashion show that happens in South Africa every year, they use VPUs, but that's obviously just running content like once per song, and I'm sure it's fine for that.
Okay, so another question. So I want to do lights on big EDM festivals in Germany in the near future, but well, I don't know where to start my career, especially in Germany. Any tips? Yeah, I know that struggle, cause like it depends on where you live in Germany, but
Yeah.
where I live, it's the same problem. There's not a lot of events and not a lot of EDM events and no big ones especially. So
If I can
I think
add in
you have to go somewhere where there are a lot more events, like bigger
America.
cities. Or you have to go to America, like Ethan just spoilered.
America or Amsterdam?
Amsterdam is a really good place to do
Yeah,
EDM stuff as well. Yeah.
I've been thinking because I'm not exactly there yet. I'm still studying for the next couple of years, and then I'll be looking. And I'm thinking about either going to the States or to Amsterdam because there's nothing in South Africa. But adding on to what Lucas said, you do have two options if you just want to do EDM. Your first is to obviously find work locally, which is going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually not two options. You've got quite a few. You can if you can get in touch with the actual rental houses that are doing those festivals. I know when they did Ultra in South Africa, I was at Ultra. They have a lot of guys from the rental houses there, as well as Ultra brings in their own team. So if you're with the rental house, I'm sure they're sending guys out. That route you might have to start as like a stage and work your way up. The other is obviously you can get on touring. So if you can start touring with a DJ, and that's obviously going to get you to all these EDM festivals. But that's also like trying to figure out how to get. You got to like actually get hired as one. It's not a job application kind of thing.
Do we save a preset in global or universal when creating a fixture reference? So when I patch a same fixture, all the presets work, like color preset from one fixture. When you have a global preset for one fixture type, it should work with every other new fixture that you patch with the same fixture type.
Near pure GH. Yeah, generally, honestly, getting to the operator stage will take a while. It's as I said, if you've got like real talent, it's also people will notice you if you start doing. Also, like if you can find like a club or something that's looking to hire a guy and get in through that in terms of just working for them for a while. Then you've got the chance of somebody coming in, but it's probably the best to just build up a portfolio. And if it's EDM festivals you're interested in, it's probably the best to try and go the touring DJ route. Because I know like all of Ultra's operators, their in-house guys, I think are provided by SJ Lighting, if I'm not mistaken. Then same for Coachella and same for EDC in the States, in that they get most of their operators from one company. So obviously you can get if you can get with a company like SJ Lighting or a company that just handles operators and designers, then you can obviously get to all these festivals.
I think you have to like look for all the designers in Germany that have been around for years now and are doing great stuff with, of course, great huge companies like PRG. So if you can get in touch with some of the designers that PRG works with, I think you have more of a chance to get the work as an operator instead of just programmer. Yeah.
I mean, you might want to start off as a programmer in certain cases. Like you look at Fish, they carry a programmer full time, and that could be a thing. Because you've got very little chance of going straight to an operator or a designer from like nothing.
It's always like this. In like every job you do, you first have to show the people that you can do great stuff. And if it's by just doing the programming and doing it real good, and then it's fine. Like the people remind, like they remind you, and they really learn that you can do great stuff. And when you got that, you will also get the chance to do bigger stuff and operating instead of programming.
Well, yeah,
I
it's
think
definitely
that would be the route I would take. Hopefully,
it's
in my
definitely a
future.
career field where hard work pays off. It's not a
always.
It's not so much of a who you know more than what you know. It's definitely what you know. It's how hard you're willing to work and that kind of stuff. All right. Any other questions from anybody?
That would be nice. some MA questions. Not only these questions, like what would you do to get the best paid job and do the big EDM festivals and all that kind of shit. We answered that several times now, I think.
But it's also getting to those big festivals. It's like waiting, because you look at like Panic at the Disco's dude. I think he's been with them for like a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It's what I've read.
I don't know.
And now they're running a massive show, whereas like you could always start off with like a DJ that's, and always remember that no show is too small, I guess, in saying. It's like you can't say, oh no, that show is too small for me, because you could start off with a DJ that's doing tiny little shows and then eventually becomes like Martin Garrix or something. Lighting design is a second job. In what context? In the context that you already have a job, or in the context that you're going to go look for a job, get that job, and then also pursue lighting design on the side?
Yes.
I think that could prove disastrous, though, because you think of it, most lighting stuff happens at night. If you're working a job and you're getting home at like 2 a.m, that could become pretty disastrous, don't you think?
It could be. But it's basically what we have been going through as well, because we're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Just when you're so busy that you always like.
Yeah, you look at like when Martin does his shows in over the summer, in the Northern Hemisphere summer, not my summer, your summer. They're doing like 28 shows a month and getting very little sleep at night. So it's also, if you're planning on going full time, you always have to hope that you might be picked up for touring or something, and then you'd have to quit your main job. So I think it's kind of one of those things where you go all out and hope to succeed, or you just don't try it really.
Hopefully not don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope everyone succeeds, but it is a thing where you kind of just gotta go for.
So actually, their higher operators might get in touch with them. Yeah, just
get in touch with them. We wish you the best.
Definitely.
Does PRG manufacture and rent out fixtures, or is PRG, the company that manufactures lights, separate from the other PRG?
PRG is manufacturing fixtures, but I think they haven't done that since the beginning, and they are doing rental and planning, and like you can also learn event technology there. You can. But the only thing that they are not doing is the actual lighting design. So they hire lighting designers and operators most of the time for doing their shows. But they build up the whole rig, and so the designers only have to walk in and control it.
Yeah. I think they do Tomorrowland, don't they?
Could be that they're doing Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
they're definitely doing.
Tomorrowland doesn't allow.
They are definitely doing the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
And a lot of more shows, like the PRG show, of course, in Frankfurt at Pro Light and Sound every year, and huge shows like the Helene Fischer show in Germany, and lots more. You can go to their website. They have written down what they've done there. Okay, another German question. Aber denn ist ja nur die Dimmerzahl auf 0, aber sie soll sich aufhören zu drehen. Moving Lights vielleicht mit Fixture auf. Achso, du willst also die Lampe sozusagen in die Default-Werte zurücksetzen. Also, wenn es hier darum geht, jetzt Effekte zu beenden, dann gibt es da sowas, das schimpft sich Stomping. Du musst einen Effekt, um ihn zu beenden, stompen. Das heißt, du musst in den Queue, der auf den Effekt-Queue folgt, einen Stomp-Befehl für die Selektion von Fixtures, bei denen du möchtest, dass der Effekt nicht mehr läuft, speichern. Ja? Funktioniert so, add ist der Stomp-Befehl. Sekunde, ich wechsle auf meinen Screen. Genau, also nochmal clear. add ist der Stomp-Befehl, dann sagst du Stomp, meinetwegen Dimmers. Und jetzt würden hier die Effekte, die da drauf laufen, beendet werden. Beispiel, ich mache hier mal Effekte drauf, irgendein Chase, fertig aus. Jetzt läuft da ein Chase. Wenn ich jetzt hergehe und sage Stomp und hier Dimmer, dann wird hier für jeden dieser Lampen- und Stomp-Befehl als Effekt gespeichert. Dementsprechend, das ist jetzt egal, ob das Dimmer ist oder ob das Pen and Tilt ist, das ist gerade wurscht, funktioniert dann genau so. Du kannst natürlich auch hergehen und nur einen bestimmten Parameter stompen, mit Stomp-Lampe selektiert haben, dann hier oben auf den entsprechenden Parameter drücken, den du gestompt haben willst. Kannst auch hergehen und auf den Effekt drücken, also Stomp-Effekt statt Stomp-Fixture, dann wird trotzdem der Effekt beendet und bei jedem Fixture, wo der Effekt lief, ein Stomp-Befehl gespeichert. Ansonsten, wenn du die Lampen nur über ein Hard-Value irgendwo hin bewegt hast und willst du das jetzt im nächsten Queue wieder auf 0 gehen, dann musst du ihnen halt sagen, dass sie auf 0 gehen sollen. Also einfach einen Wert 0 reinspeichern. Entweder indem du einen Programmer clearst und einfach die Werte aktiv setzt. Also angenommen, das wäre jetzt Pen Tilt, dann würdest du hier oben einfach zweimal draufklicken, dann ist es aktiv und wird auch gespeichert, wenn du jetzt hergehst und drückst Store und speicherst das in den Queue. Also so wäre da die Vorgehensweise. Ich hoffe, ich konnte dir weiterhelfen. So, next question.
There isn't one yet. One PRG fixture costs $60,000. An MA2 full size costs like 75. What's that fixture that costs like? There's another fixture that costs a lot. It's a
I don't
high-end
know. Let me search for PRG
one.
fixtures.
I think there's like a high-end one
What
that's
I-
also like a similar cost.
I don't think that they are so expensive.
Nah, I can't see it being like $60,000.
I can't see it as well. I think they are about 10,000, but not more.
Yeah, I mean, because the best boy was
PRG best boy price.
Yeah.
Can we find a price for that? I think I won't even find a price online for that fixture.
There's one website I could check.
Okay, I found something that could be
I mean, like the BMFO is only like
PRG
who would
best
win?
boy. There it is. PRG best boy for 1,000 on request. Okay, and is there another? Yeah. So there's another fixture from PRG which costs 10,099 retail.
That's a pretty. I mean, there's a how much is the BMFL? I think the BMFL is like 17 or something.
I don't know.
I'm
I
checking.
don't have it in my mind right now.
There's a website here. Let me check. Roby BMFL.
But obviously all these fixtures are rental fixtures. No one will ever buy them, and only rental houses have to make money off them. So the huge price isn't that big of a deal when it's just for rental.
Well, the BMFL blade is $20,000. Who?
Okay.
I like this. Who would win? Car or GrandMA2? Depends on who's buying it. If my parents are buying it, I'll take the car. Rather than an MA2. Quick, anyone who's watching right now, just type into the chat what you think BMFL actually stands for versus what Roby wants you to think it stands for. Best Boy Spot HP. They don't want to sell them, only rent, so they have a monopoly. Yeah, they probably do. 4 truss with 6 fixtures each. How to do an effect from outwards in. 2 wings tilt down from 60 to 0 off the next truss. Are they just are the trusses just like lined up in a line, or are they behind each other, or in like a pattern? That's a question.
Can you prepare answering that question? Then I will just answer the German question that came in before. Okay.
I'll do that. I'll hop into a show file quickly.
Kann man einen Speedmaster nur bei absoluten Effekten verwenden oder auch bei relativen? Bei mir klappt es irgendwie nur bei absoluten. Kann man bei jeder Art von Effekt verwenden. Kurze Demo. Ich bearbeite hier meinen Effekt. Pack hier eine Speedgruppe rein. Speed 1, fertig aus. Wie mache ich das jetzt am besten? Das ist, ja, gut zu sehen, ist egal. Ich führe einfach den Effekt aus. Jetzt siehst du, der ist schon relativ schnell. Jetzt packe ich mir hier mal ein Special Master, Speed Master 1 hin. Wenn ich jetzt hier das Ding noch schneller mache, siehst du, es ist definitiv schneller geworden. Und die ganze Geschichte ist jetzt ein Absolute-Effekt. Wenn ich den jetzt auf einen Relativ-Effekt umstelle, läuft der immer noch genauso schnell. Also ändert überhaupt nichts daran, ob das ein relativer oder absoluter Effekt ist. Der Speedmaster sollte in jedem Fall funktionieren. Wenn das nicht so ist, dann liegt das an irgendwas anderem, aber nicht daran. Gut. Next question, Ethan.
I'm preparing this spot, the truss thing.
Yeah, the truss
So
thing.
just so what are you trying to accomplish? So you want a dimmer where it's coming in from so you want a thing where it's coming in from the out and it's doing a dimmer effect and bringing and tilt at the same time, or do you want each truss to actually do the tilt down and then it moves on to the next truss? That's the only thing. So I just need to know what you want to do, and then I can probably tell you. So
yeah, and Tom, bye-bye, see you later.
Hold on, I need to find a show file that actually works. Actually, I think if that's what he's asking, I might have what
Vertical truss.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing up a show file now that I have that uses vertical truss. So,
Okay.
let's see. Bright, manageable light. Fancy. Select default camera front.
Tilt down and next truss.
Because if you're trying to tilt down and next truss, so the way you could do that is I've got this show file here where these BMF files are arranged like that. So let me just off their current position. And if you go to the view, I'm just gonna hop into it quickly. And as long as all the trusses have the same amount of fixtures, you could go like this. So create a selection where it's going from one to the next. Then all you have to do is go into other effects, color dim. I want any effect for you, and select dim and tilt. Set them both to the same thing, same speed. So I'm just gonna make it 10 because 3D doesn't like stuff, and set the blocks to the amount of fixtures, and then set the tilt value to 0 and -60 or whatever you want your things to be. And then I can just set that like that, so it's pointing straight out. And then theoretically it'll work. Let's see. I don't think it's going to though. Was I'm thinking I'm in blind. Oh yeah. So sorry, you would select something like PWM and then mess around with the width so that it only does like the one truss. Is that kind of what you're trying to accomplish? I'll let it get onto the stream and then ask him what he wants. Do you use XYZ anywhere for busking? No, I don't. Do you, Lucas?
Like, I haven't really the experience with XYZ that I would be comfortable with using it. I heard about it a lot and I tried to use it a lot, but I never tried to use it on an actual stage. I only used it in 3D. In 3D, obviously, this is easily usable and everything, but on a real stage and calibrating all the fixtures, yeah, one step more to do. Like for some effects, it's nice because you can do creative stuff when you use XYZ, but I haven't done it till now. So never used it for busking.
Demon ZK. I apologize. I realized it wasn't actually showing the 3D view, so I've put it up now. So let me know if that's what you're trying to accomplish or if it's something else. I don't know if it's actually yes, that is it. So yeah, so just select your things. Actually, I think you could even go one further. I'm trying to think how that would work if you set it. So if you set it like 2 wings, then we'll do something like that in your selection order. So yeah, you can mess
That
around with it
looks
obviously and figure
awesome.
stuff out. If I actually take I'm just gonna switch to this view. If I actually take not that one, not this. If I take not that either, if I copy that effect and I go into here, no, I don't want to go into there. I want to go to stage and just go like this and create a actual snake pattern kind of thing. Then it'll probably look cool. And LFX, take selection. I think this way would look better. So 2 wings. Set this to chase. Or not chase, chase sucks. Sign. That looks terrible. PWM is the only thing that actually works. Yeah, so it's fairly simple to actually, yeah, there, that's doing that now. So obviously that will only, that looks pretty cool. Going like through the whole picture. That actually looks kind of cool.
Play this at 2 or 4x the speed and will be funny.
Yeah, well, it's just MA3D. Have you noticed that MA3D doesn't like, it can't actually assemble, or not assemble, can't actually run fixtures at the speed that the fixtures can run in real life. It's not great at doing that.
And if anyone has any fix for that, I would be so freaking happy. Of course,
I think
Sharpies are way more faster than they are in 3D. And
I know,
it
you
sucks.
can't get like above 18 BPM. It's time to buy WYSIWYG, I guess. Do you sort your sequences and execs? I sort my effects. I do. I don't ever go into a sequence pool. I don't enjoy working with sequences. I prefer to create execs and then I obviously create the sequences. But yeah, if I go into my effect view here, you see I've got all the predefined effects at the top. Then I sort them by fixture type. So I've got the beams all at the top here, and each fixture type has 3 rows of possible effects, and those are the rows that are affected by the modifiers here. So you can see if I go through, I've got the beam, then I've got my spots and my washers. Then down here I've got it's a much bigger one, but this is where I can put all my dimmer effects that I create specific to the rig. And yeah, and then I've got a few things below, but not much. So that's how I sort my effects. But no, I think I've got sequences under presets or somewhere, or under system shit. No, I don't actually. Let me create a sequences view, and you can see how messed up my sequences actually are. My sequences are just everywhere. I never touch the sequence pool just because I don't like to. But yeah, they're all over the show. There should be an editable file in MA3D. There should be yeah, you can do that, but then you gotta go edit every single. There's a way. I don't think it's actually there. I think it's in the fixture profile. If I go pattern fixture schedule, DMX profiles. No, not DMX profiles. Fixture types. I think it's in fixture type that you can.
What are
actually
you
mess
searching
with
for?
stuff. If you want to change the speed of movement, you can change that in.
You can change it somewhere? Really?
Yeah, I read it somewhere and then I went and did it and it kind of worked, but it's a pain to do. It's just, it would be nice if like, I get that MA3D isn't like WYSIWYG or anything because it's free and stuff and it isn't like $5,200, but it would be nice if they kind of did set up something to set it. I think if you buy the Keylight pack, that some dude makes a whole pack of models, those can actually do it, I think.
So there is a place where there's a value that specifies what speed these moving heads have. So there is a possibility to change it, you think, or have I got that wrong?
I'm fairly certain there is a place to do it.
But I don't think it's in the actual software.
I think don't know where it is. It might be.
I think it's when you actually do edit the XML file or when you are creating it. There could be a parameter, but I don't really know. So
how to change speed of moving heads MA3D
in GrandMA2.
minimum time. Yeah, there minimum time in fixture edits. Edit your fixture, edit your attribute. Maybe. I like because if you take like the Sharpies, I've got a whole lot of Sharpies here. If you take them and like put them into a circle, if you get above like 20 BPM, it just I've got it in a group that'll mess it up.
Okay, so actually
can't do it.
editing the XML file will run you into serious problems, as you can see in the stream. You can't edit it.
Like, screw
It-
you.
It's encoded or something. You can't edit it.
Did you break? Oh, have you ever opened up a MA2 show file in like Notepad++ or something?
Yes. It looks terrible.
It looks. I'm gonna open it up for those that haven't actually seen it before yet, so they can see what it's like. If I don't, you do. It's not serious. Edit with a Notepad++. If you've never opened a show file with Notepad++,
Okay. Lol.
that's what
Okay.
it looks like.
I got the actual fixture definition able to be opened in like a readable way. But I don't know if there's any parameter that will tell us how fast the fixture can move.
He says right click on your attribute.
Is there any way?
Believe me, I believe you. I said I know there's a way. I just don't know how to do it. I'm fairly certain
I just opened the file of an exported point robot point, but I can't see any parameter in here that would specify the speed of the fixture. So I don't think that it's possible inside of the XML file. But if someone of you can see something that I can't see right now, please write me down in the comments or chat.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Set up fixture not live. Edit fixtures. Edit your attribute. It's possible. Oh, okay. Let's see. Fixture. Edit fixtures. Edit your fixture. Edit the attribute. So it's the pen and tilt attribute or what? And there should be left click on your attribute in minimum time. Minimum 3D time. So this is set to none. If I put this to 0, will this be instant movement or what will it be? Will this actually be instant movement? If it is, I would be so amazed, because I never knew what this column is doing. Okay, let me patch rope point 10 of those.
Can you create your own fixture? You can. It's a pain in the ass to do, though. It is.
Okay, that's. I'm really excited.
The fixture editor is not the best. That it's not as good as it could be. It takes a while to do it. Lucas, can you handle it for 5 minutes while I leave quickly?
Yeah, no problem. I'll just discover if there's a way to make fixtures faster. Problem in stage view, it's always instant, so I need to open the 3D besides that. Lol, it's not connected. Have to connect it first. Give me a sec. Okay, so let me get the group pool and let me change to my screen. Okay, so this is all ropes and I first have to distribute them evenly out like this and put them at full. And now I'm excited to see how fast they will move to another position now. Oh, lol. Actually, Ethan, this is working. This is doing the instant movement now. Wow.
That's cool. But I think to actually figure out what you need for each fixture would be a pain.
Yeah, it would be a pain to figure out the exact value, but you could just set it to something little to be able to actually reach the speed that the moving head usually has. So, like, figuring
Maybe
it out perfectly would be hard, but just when you're working with therapies, you know that they are fast, and it's a pain in the ass when 3D is not as fast. So,
or maybe we could actually add that into Discord, where if you figured out the actual speed or the actual number or what's the word I'm looking for?
that you have to put in there, yeah.
Yeah, that you have to put in. If we could create like a channel where you can just say fixture type and what it's meant to be.
I would really like to know what the
Interesting.
default value in this column is when you set it to none. Like, just to have a reference. Because 1 seems to be still really fast. Or kind of fast. I have to put some cycle effects on it.
It's either like way too fast or way too slow. There's no in between.
None is default, yes, but what is default? What actual value? I don't know.
Slow.
Yeah, slow. Of course, it's definitely slow.
Because I mean, the Roby points in real life are stupid fast, and then in
Yeah.
also if MA, if the people at MA, if anybody's watching, if you guys could implement infinite light, infinite pan and tilt support into MA3D.
Oh yes. Infinite pan and tilt
insert
support.
insert that would be great meme right here.
Yeah, it would be really
that
great.
would really be nice. Because I think like at the moment, if you want to, it's by
Okay.
WYSIWYG, or you have no option at all.
Okay, so I set this to 0 and set this to -90. Awesome. And let me just crank up the rate to 1. Okay, this is still too fast for them to handle it, but it's better than... it's better than normally. I don't know if points can actually do that speed in real life, but now it works in 3D. So, awesome. So we figured that out.
That's cool.
That's cool. Really cool.
Time equals seconds from min to max. Alright, any other questions for us in terms of what you'd like to see? Also, if you got any ideas for tutorials,
seconds from min to max. Okay, so the time is actually seconds. Nice to know. Reading the manual would be so helpful, I think, but we are just trying to figure it out ourselves.
The manual got a lot better. I just want to put that in. The manual got a lot better with the 3.3 update.
Yeah, it got.
On their website at least. I should probably change to 3.3.4.3. I'm still on 3.2.2.16.
Okay. No, I updated right away because there hasn't been any bugs and it works fine.
Yeah. Well, 3.4.1 was super buggy. Like hellishly buggy.
It was.
And then the new one isn't so much.
Like this bug with the master fader when you assign it to none or empty and then you assign it to something else. The software used to just crash. But it's fixed. Okay, so any other questions?
I'm debating whether or not to go through that effect generator that I've created.
You can? Would be really interesting.
Should I? Yeah, why not? Do you want to switch to my screen?
Yep, I'll switch. It's switched.
Cool, so I might do a full tutorial on this, I might not. But basically what I've created is a position effect generator, which is similar to how Christian Jackson's color effect generator works, but the implementation is a bit different. So if you see here on the far left of the most right column, there's a thing called FX setup. So if I hit that, I can select 2 positions from all my position presets. I can say straight out mid and fan out very high, for example. And then that is copying presets, which I'll go into in a bit. And then I can toggle, and then this is the actual effect that I can toggle. So if I go into here, you can see that's just going a macro. So that's just it's a dummy exec basically. If I go to that macro though, wherever it is, I've just got to find it amongst my, here, I think this is it. 3, yeah. So here you can see all it's doing is going to execute it on a storage page. So if it makes sense, all this is really doing is copying presets. So here's the actual macro somewhere. Oh no, the actual macro is on that page. Let me go to the page 127. You can see here's the execs. So all that the dummy exec is doing is bringing up go-tos for these execs, and these are copying presets. Now those, so you can see it's copying preset 2.48 at 2.114, for example. If I go to my presets, you can see that that corresponds with all the beam position presets. And then here are the effect presets. So obviously it's copying that. And then if I go into my effects, you can see here it's got those presets assigned to it. So once it copies it, the effect then references that preset, and that's how it works basically. And then obviously it's linked to this, still responds to groups, still responds to blocks, so it's still editable in that sense. So I hope that's, I mean, if you want to use that, you're welcome to. I'll probably implement eventually form changing, so that I can actually change the form if I want to. But I haven't, I need to find space to put it. I need to get rid of something here to put that in, or maybe put it here or something. Yeah, so that's what I've recently worked on. Anything you have to share, Lucas?
Disappointed. Yeah, so no new questions.
So I got a message from my friend who's watching the stream, and he says we should add a Google forum or something to add suggestions and corrections to when we mess up. Maybe we could add that in like Discord or something.
Yeah, Discord
So, like,
would be the proper way.
So like we can create a.
Because in Discord, there's already, let me see, there's already a channel that's called Feedback, I think. Yeah, Feedback. So on the Discord
rename it?
server, you can leave the feedback.
Or can't we rename it though? Correct Ethan and Lucas because they fucked up.
I don't know if so many characters are allowed for a name.
Demonetized there, fam.
You can try to change it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually pretty cool because it would be nice to have a way, because we do mess up sometimes. We're human. We don't know everything about MA, so it would be nice to actually have some feedback from it.
Like in the agenda tutorial, I entered a command, and the command was go to executor 1.1, and I forgot about the Q1 part. So this would just be useless, because it would just open the pop-up at a certain time. But who needs that? It's useless. But in the edit, I thought, no, I leave this in there because it doesn't matter at all for the functionality and for the explaining thing.
I get whenever I upload anything, I get constant comments about how I messed it up.
Yeah, same
how
here.
I could have done something easier.
First comment was on the, yeah, nice tutorial, but you messed up.
Yeah, it's like, what was I gonna say?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks messing up is like part of me, because my show file, everyone wants the show file. Trust me, you don't. Because I don't know how half of it works, in that my macro writing is terrible. Things I say in like 30 lines could probably be done in like 1 line.
I would say your macro writing is all over the place.
It's a lot. Some of my macros are written like really well. Because I mean, I am learning coding outside of YouTube, so I try to implement as much of that as possible in terms of keeping just coding conventions and that kind of stuff. But it's just sometimes when you're writing macros, I mean, if I go to what macro is really messed up? Yeah, this one's really messed up. Delays. Which macro is this? I know. Where's the? Yeah, this one. This could be accomplished in like 10 lines probably. And I've got it at 42 because I go filter, group, at, store, clear, blind. I could do all of that in 1 line versus 5 or 6 per thing. So yeah, that's sum equals 4. What? So yeah, my macro writing is all over the show. But it's just so that if anybody does steal my show file, they can't figure out how it works. Yeah, anything else to add, Lucas? Or shall we just wait for...
No, your macro writing could be improved. I just agree on that.
Could. I'm probably not
But
going
I think
to, but it
not only the
definitely
macro
could.
writing could be improved. I always think about what can you improve when working with Lua in conjunction with macros. If it is possible to, like, if you have macros that are only there for the setup process, these are not time critical. And of course, macros run better on MA as plugins do. So if you can do something with a macro, this will usually run faster.
Yeah.
But for setup purposes, like editing lines of macros or like restoring presets or something, you could do that with Lua easily because it's not time critical. And this is where I really want to incorporate Lua into my show file because I think that would be awesome.
Actually, maybe we should add maybe we could do a tutorial just thinking about macros on how to do position generation with macros.
Could be an idea for a future video, yeah.
Because maybe I'll steal it from my channel. Because I've got a few things with position generation via position generation and attribute editing with macros. Because it's fairly simple, but it isn't. There's a couple ways to do it, so maybe we could do a tutorial just going over that.
We could. Like just leave your comments down in the chat. What you think about the ideas we talk about, and ask us questions. Like, this is a Q&A stream.
Yeah.
We really want those questions to be a great part of it.
Obviously, just going on that, remember, like, in any of our videos, you're more than welcome to put in the comments what you'd like to see, because we are going through stuff systematically, but if you would like to see a tutorial, you're welcome to leave a comment. If it's simple enough, we might explain it via a comment, or we might go ahead and make a full tutorial.
Yeah.
Putting that out there.
So,
I want to show.
Is there something we can show right now?
If you got any questions, go ahead and ask.
I'm always thinking about what would be interesting.
I'm also trying, yeah. I've kind of hit a bit of a dead end or a wall.
Seems like not only we are hitting that, our viewers are doing too.
Yeah, I don't think there's many questions.
No new questions. Yeah.
Anybody got
Last time this really worked out so well that we had even more questions at the end, and we couldn't really stop without leaving the question out, but this time seems like people like watching, cause there are 9 people right now watching, but have no questions right now. So this is your chance. Go open up your GrandMA on PC, try stuff out and fail, just to have questions.
Do you know how to get CV content on a plane on MA3 like Dane Kick? I've read somewhere how to, and I can't remember how to.
I know how to. This is working over CITP, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And you are, you can add, you can configure this in the VPU software, and you can configure it in 3D to be received. Let me just try to show you. The problem is I don't have VPU on my PC, and the software is not really like for live streaming. It's not good because it usually when you install it, it jumps into full screen automatically and it crashes everything. And you shouldn't open it when live streaming.
What is the best form for color effects, for color wheel? Anything, actually not anything. PWM works, Chase works. Let me actually pull up the forms here so I can actually think. You can't use stuff like sine wave or anything that slowly goes through the what's the word I'm looking for? The values, because that'll cause issues. Like if I load up a show file quickly, we can go through this together. I know PWM generally works pretty well and Chase works all the time, but it's just you got to remember the color wheels. Obviously, got to get to the slot, so you have to figure out one that can immediately go there. But even then, working with color effects and color wheels is never fun because you do sometimes see the snap. Especially, I've noticed Chauvet fixtures are really bad with that in terms of showing the snap actually. Like come here. This is one that I've got. Oh no, that isn't one actually. I just need to find one. Yeah. So PWM works. Random technically works if you wanted to just do random stuff. Chase obviously works. Sign will not. Sign can. Sign can work if you set the width right. But if you have the width that like, what? It never worked for me. Why does it work all of a sudden? What? That's not fair. Ramp works. I guess everything works. Sign didn't used to work for me. What? Why does it work?
Okay, yes. You add a plane to MA3D, and then in the settings or in the material settings of that plane, you can set the texture of the plane, and there is your selector for media server, and this is where your VPU would pop up, and you can just select it right there, and then you should see the video on the plane. And this is how it works in 3D, I think.
Yeah,
Back to you.
I think you have to set up CRTP into MA. If you
you have to set up CRTP in the VPU, and you have to set it up in GrandMA to add the VPU to the session, and then you have to set it up in 3D with the plane. That's how it should work, I think. No, the CITP is also possible when on one computer. I already did that some time back in the day, so I know it works on one computer.
Just looping. Kangaroo Productions, can you please expand on what you mean? Do you guys know how to make tic-tac-toe on MA?
Yeah, there has been a post.
You probably did with Lua.
There had to be a post on Facebook where someone tried to do tic-tac-toe with Lua. But basically,
I could do it with macros. 100% good.
Macros would work, or Lua would work as well. Just
if you what you could do is you could create like a layout view with empty, and you create images. You create a blank tile, an X and an O. The only issue would be figuring out. The only issue would be figuring out when it's in a line or when it's not in a line and that kind of stuff.
And for this, I think you need the Lua.
You probably need Lua.
Yeah.
Or you could probably do like because you'd have to create a grid and then you'd have to be like, if these macros, you'd have to figure out all the possible combinations.
Yeah, which is.
And then it's like, if this is like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, then it will do it. But it's probably MA isn't meant for gaming, guys. MA is meant for lighting.
Yeah.
Unless you get one of those hacked. I saw a video in one of the groups that some Chinese guy posted where they had one of the fake consoles, and he had a game running on it because it was just running Windows and a cracked version of MA on PC, and then he was gaming on it. Gary and Fleming, what about tracking? Yeah, that's why it would be an issue, because you'd have to figure out the possible combinations. You can download this. I think it was Lua. It probably was Lua. I can't see it being macros or anything.
It is Lua.
So you're saying if you change the fixtures, so if you're saying if you change a fixture that has 6 channels to a fixture that has 8 channels, if so, cloning's the way to go. That's pretty much the only way to do it. What? You've got to have a lot of time on your hands though to sit and program that.
What is also funny,
hello, Julius.
but this is, I think, still a bug in MA. When you change the actual fixture types in the setup, in the patch and fixture schedule, sometimes when you edit the fixture type, these edits won't be working when you exit out of the setup. And to fix this, you've just you can just go in there and change the fixture type to the same. So this way he reloads the fixture type and it will take effect in the actual show.
Yeah. Anybody else got any questions?
Hi,
Let's talk about Trump.
Julius.
Hi, all.
I don't know how you would spell this out in English. Julius.
Le.
In German, it would
Julius.
be Julius.
I think that's also kind of how it would be in African language, Afrikaans.
Okay. I think I have to add some text to the stream. Give me a sec.
Anybody else got anything they'd like to see from us? Any questions? Anything you'd like to see in either our show files or my show file, because Lucas's isn't done yet?
Since years in the making, basically.
We need to get it done, mate.
Just two different shows to have one template show file. And I'm always going... when I'm at the point that I have a show file that is good enough, I always have this one show where it does not fit perfectly and I start over from scratch again. And then everything is ruined. Like the whole motivation to make those template show files. Yeah.
Kangaroo Productions, you're talking about having one light that has two color wheels? Like, I don't know what fixtures actually have two.
There are some.
BMFLs have two color wheels.
There are some with two color wheels.
I know there's some. I think the BMFL might. Yeah, the BMFL has two color wheels. Sharpies might. No, Sharpies have one. The BMFL does have two. You could technically, I mean, you could substitute the... So, like, the way I've got it is, I've got, like, beams and spots. You could substitute that, the beams for beam wheel 1 and spots for beam wheel 2. No, Lucas has a node. Lucas has a 2-port node. I don't have enough money to buy him a hardware. It's expensive. I mean, like, how much is a 2-port node, which is the minimum?
Like, if you want to go cheap, you could get the NSP. For like,
but then you're limiting your. It's still like $800.
Yeah, and you get 2,048 parameters out of it.
But you remember you also get only a 100 meg port.
Yes,
on
but
it, which can slow down.
Usually this is enough. If you're doing like pixel mapping stuff and you have only RGB values sent out on 2048 DMX channels, this could be a problem. But I think when you're doing normal stuff like moving heads where the most channels are not even touched at the same time, this connection shouldn't be a bottleneck. So usually this works. And another downside of the NSP is that you don't have RDM. RDM isn't supported by it.
Yeah.
So this is where you need new RMA hardware.
Yeah, which is expensive.
New and expensive MA hardware.
Yeah.
Or you go fully on PC and you build your own MIDI configuration. That works as well, and it works really good. So I would do it if I have not the money to do it the expensive way.
If I was going to buy MA hardware, I'd get a node and build a MIDI thing.
Yeah.
I don't, because most people buy I'd buy a fader wing, but I don't think I'd buy a command wing, because for me the actual command hard keys aren't that important, because I know all the keyboard mappings, so I'm quick with programming. Julius, I've just given you a link to a live stream of mine where I went over my show file. I haven't done one in a while. My show file's changed a lot. I should probably do another one. But I've kind of got a template show file in that I've got a whole lot of clone sources. So I'm not replacing those clone sources, updating them, but I clone from the clone sources, which is why they're called clone sources, to the rigs patch, and that's how I use it. Do you use RDM? I don't even know how to. Lucas, do you?
I have never used RDM because I have not worked with RDM enabled fixtures. But yeah, in general it works like you go into the setup and there you have the option to see all RDM devices that are in the actual network. You can toggle RDM on and then you would see them pop up here, and you could do things like giving the fixtures DMX addresses or identifying them by opening up the dimmer and the shutter. And all that kind of stuff.
I don't like.
And they report back their thermals and stuff. So it could be a really good solution if there has
but it
been
can
made
also
a
bite you in
mistake
the
before
arse.
putting the fixtures to the roof.
But imagine how much trouble it can cause if you leave the console unattended and some like dick comes and freaking changes all your DMX addresses on the fixtures remotely.
Sorry. Yeah.
I hear lots of like good things about it, but then it's also like that's a constant concern to me. Because even if you lock your password, lock your show file, if somebody loads on their own show file, if they can use RDM, I'm fairly certain they can do that, and then they go and change DMX addresses. I mean, could you imagine how disastrous that could be?
Yeah, but first there has to be some person that really wants to fuck with you. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that would happen at
I'm
all.
saying it's like an unnecessary.
Like someone has to hate you to do that.
Or just wants to mess with you. Like people play like pranks, dude.
It's a prank. It's a prank. You fucked up the show. It's a prank.
There's things on YouTube where it's like yeah, we killed a guy, but it was just a prank. It wasn't anything serious. He's dead, but I probably shouldn't say stuff like that, especially after the Logan.
No, you should not say this. Definitely
it was a bad example. Oh no, he broke his leg, but pranks. You ruined their marriage, but pranks. So I just think somebody could take it a step too far if they're trying to do something funny, and they just go that far and they mess up your show.
I don't think that would be a major concern because I don't know. I don't think it would happen. But of course, it can be done technically.
I think if you could password lock the fixtures, that could be pretty cool. If they could institute something where there's a password on the fixture side, so if you actually want to change anything, you enter a password, that gets sent to the fixture, gets checked on the fixture side, and if it's good, then it updates. Then I would think RDM is pretty good to you. If it's just any show file that you load into the system, then it could cause issues. Yeah. For my previous question, the color wheel I'm referring to is like the Adobe color correction wheel. Lucas, do you understand that?
What? Give me a sec. For my previous question, the color wheel I'm referring to, Adobe correction color wheel. Separate question. Can you do the color picker thing with multiple color wheels? What? What are you thinking of right now? I'm not quite getting it. You mean, you mean the color picker, right? Where is it? This thing. And you want multiple color wheels. Do you mean like this thing, or what do you mean? You could go cyan, magenta, yellow, or you can go RGB right here. Like, those are individual wheels. Not really, but kinda. How long have you programmed your show file? Ethan, how long have you programmed your show file?
Where's that question? How long have you programmed your show file? I think it has been in development since... Let me think. Yeah, I can go check actually. Let's go look. Set up, backup, load show, Ethan's show. It started on... No, it didn't start... Yeah, it started on January 4th, 2017. So, a year yesterday. But actually, it was in development for longer than that. Because I had another show file under another name. And then
question from me.
I went on.
Would you start over with your show file at some point to clean it up and to think about how you would...
No.
Okay, so
I wouldn't.
That's not an option.
It's because I've slowly been going through and like clearing out unused execs, unused sequences, sometimes very seldomly unused stuff. But it's just there's so much so deep in the show file that starting over would, I mean, it's taken me a year of working on it 2 to 3 times a week. So at least 60, 70 times in the year, more, I can guarantee. To get here. I mean, I've just started a timecode show file that I'm busy building up, but that isn't as in-depth as this show file isn't. And this show file still, like, every week or two gets a major change in that I add something pretty drastic. So,
Okay.
no, I would not start over. There's a German question for you.
Oh yes. Gibt es eine Möglichkeit, ohne MA-Hardware echte Lampen zu steuern, beispielsweise mit so einem DMX-USB-Interface oder so? Also die MA-Antwort wäre jetzt nein, diese Möglichkeit gibt es nicht. Das System funktioniert so, dass du MA-Hardware kaufst und MA-Hardware ermöglicht dir Parameter zu nutzen. Das heißt, nur über MA-Hardware bist du in der Lage, DMX in egal welcher Art und Weise rauszugeben. Das heißt, du bist auch nicht in der Lage, Artnet rauszugeben, solange du keine Nodes angeschlossen hast. Die inoffizielle Antwort darauf wäre, ja, es gibt Möglichkeiten, aber keine legalen. Es gibt diverse Sachen über die, also es gibt schon Leute, die haben zumindest alte Softwareversionen von MA gehackt bekommen, insoweit, dass MA DMX ausgibt, obwohl du keine MA-Hardware angeschlossen hast. Aber ist natürlich nicht im Sinne des Erfinders und würde ich dir auch nicht empfehlen, weil wenn dir die Software wirklich was wert ist, dann solltest du auch auf die legale Art und Weise damit arbeiten. Und ich persönlich, trotz dass ich jetzt nicht unbedingt die Person bin, die unendlich viel Geld hat, habe dann trotzdem irgendwann halt mal gesagt, okay, ich will in das System investieren und dann halt ein Node gekauft damals. Das alte Node, das hat mich dann nicht so viel gekostet, aber ja, du musst halt einfach an irgendeinem Punkt dir überlegen, willst du damit arbeiten? Wenn ja, dann steck halt ein bisschen Geld rein, dass du zumindest einen Node hast, mit dem du arbeiten kannst. Oder wenn du halt genügend Shows hast und immer dann mit geliehenem Material arbeitest, dann ist ja kein Problem. Dann hast du ja immer die Gelegenheit. Und so mit 3D arbeiten und so kannst du ja, egal ob du MA-Hardware angeschlossen hast oder nicht. Genau, so, das wäre die Antwort dazu. Und Mediensucht, die hat jetzt gerade noch was hinzugefügt. Ich habe mal von Steinecke die Artnet-Nodes zum Testen bekommen. Sie haben gesagt, es würde mit OnPC funktionieren. Ich lege die auf MA-Hardware. Vermutlich funktioniert es sogar mit MA, aber es funktioniert halt nicht alleine mit MA. Du brauchst halt immer irgendeine MA-Hardware, die erstmal Parameter freischaltet. Solange du keine Parameter freigeschaltet hast, gibt die Geschichte nichts raus. Genau. Insofern, klar, in dem Moment, wo du Parameter freigeschaltet hast, kannst du rausgeben über Streaming ACN, über Artnet, über was auch immer für Protokolle MA sonst noch unterstützt. Und dann klappt das auch. Ja, genau, für 1500 bis 2000 kannst du dir definitiv ein On-PC-System zusammenzimmern. Die Software ist an der Sache das Wertvollste, genau. Deswegen, klar. Aber das stimmt, also was ich so bezahlt habe für mein On-PC-System mit MIDI-Geräten beläuft sich auch auf circa diesen Preis. Und das ist halt klar, erscheint erstmal viel, aber ist eine Investition, die sich auch auf jeden Fall lohnt. Wenn du dann damit, was weiß ich, deine 20 Shows hinter dir hast und das waren jetzt nicht unbedingt ehrenamtliche Sachen, sondern was Bezahltes, dann hast du das viel drinne. Und insofern ist es eine Investition, die sich meiner Meinung nach lohnt, weil du einfach als MA-Operator beruflich ziemlich gute Chancen hast, da auch dann größere Events zu machen. Okay, so that was it with all the German questions that have been there.
Cool. Somebody had an English question somewhere.
Yeah.
Can I change only the beam and not the spot on single lights in MA3? Do you mean the intensity of them or other stuff? Because there is, if I hop into MA3D quickly, if you go to rendering, there's an option to change the intensity of the spots and beams at the same time, if that's what you mean. So if you go into rendering and I just take beam intensity down, you can see you can actually change the intensity of what these spots look like on the ground, if that's what you mean. And there's a couple other options of beam quality and that kind of stuff. There's another German question for you.
Not a question, but like a statement. Wenn ich auf Festivals Licht mache, wird meistens ein GrandMA-Pult gestellt, daher muss ich mir nichts anschaffen. Genau, also in den meisten Fällen, wenn du irgendein Event hast, kriegst du das Pult gestellt, beziehungsweise kannst sagen, mit was du arbeitest. Du arbeitest mit MA, dann kriegst du ein MA-Pult gestellt. Wenn du halt ankommst, sagst du arbeitest mit Hock, kriegst du ein Hock-Pult gestellt. Also das geht schon eigentlich immer klar, wenn du jetzt nicht gerade die ehrenamtliche Veranstaltung von irgendeiner gemeinnützigen Organisation um die Ecke betreust, sondern halt ein bisschen was Kommerzielleres machst, dann kriegst du in der Regel auch die Pulte gestellt. Und dann ist es nicht mehr unbedingt nötig, dass du dir halt Hardware kaufst. Ja, genau.
Intensity, but for single eyes.
Can you take over
If
for just a sec? Then I'll be AFK for like 2 minutes.
No, it's chill. Yeah, just I'll show you now. If you actually just if we touch the fixture in MA3D. So if I bring up some light here in MA3D, if you select the actual fixture, if I'm not mistaken, you should. No, oh wait, no, you can't. That is. Huh, I thought you could. Not that I know of then. No, unless you go into the fixture profile. So no, if I'm wrong, as I said, we can be wrong. Just correct us in the chat. Can you show me how to use chase generator in macro? Which one? The position one or a color chase generator? Because they're essentially the same thing. So yeah, I'll go over it quickly. So first you'll have to create all the macros that are copying presets. So you can see if I go into my position, all I've got presets. Is this pause? Oh no, this show file doesn't have it. Let me go into show file that actually has it. That's an old show file. So all you're really doing is copying presets to other presets, and the other presets. So you're copying like preset 1 to preset 10, and then preset 10 is assigned to a exec. So if you create, I mean not an exec, to an effect. If you create a selective effect or even a just temporary one with no selection, you can assign presets to it. So what I do is I've got macros. All that this macro is it's saying copy preset X at preset Y. So it's taking like this one and copying it's taking like 2.48 and copying it to 2.114. Then the exec that is using that is thinking, and I just to let you know. Can you show me how? Sure, I can go through that quickly. I've played with it. I've never used it before though. I don't like it. I've got a custom bolt one that allows me to do chases of multiple things. But sure, so if I just let this show file load quickly, that actually has fixtures in it. Desktop 2. No, that. So if we go to macros, just find a random one, it would load predefined. I'm assuming you'll want to see the three things. So where is it now? Chase wave. Let's say chase wave 3 presets. So yeah, let me find an empty exec, so 26. So click on it. So it'll first try us to choose an empty executor, so we can say 1.36, I guess. How many fixtures? So I've got 80. Oh, I need to select a thing first. Sorry. So select your group. Tap on this. Enter your exec. So 1.36 in my case. Enter your fixture. So it's 80. Your first presets, I'll make it 4.1. Which is red or white. No, it's white, so 4.2. And my last one can be this one can be 4.1 and then 4.5. Then it'll go and create it all. I'm in blind, so you can't actually see it happen. Or you can. There we go. It's happening. So it takes forever to actually do because it goes through each light and creates a sequence. I've got a different way where it's using delays and stuff, but I think I've done a tutorial on that already. So if we just sit and let this go for like 10 minutes, it will work. So this just moves in the order of your selection. It doesn't do it doesn't take into account any wings or that kind of stuff. So it's just in the order of your selection. So we'll just let it go.
I'm back.
We're just going over the 3-wave chase, the preset generator, the built-in one.
Ah, okay.
So I'm just letting it finish. If it does.
It takes forever.
It does, which is why I don't use it. And then it should have said, what? It did that and it doesn't actually save it anywhere? Oh, because I said 36. Damn. button page 1. It should be something. No, that's buttons. I need faders, which is here. And then here, and then fader 1. No, what? See, this is why I don't use it, because it like does shit and then doesn't do it. Maybe I was wrong. So let's say, am I just unable to use it? Let's try it again. Make it is 20 an available exec, so 26. It's 26, 80, 4.1, 4.2, 4.8. Let that run again, so I want to actually see if it works. But yeah, that's basically how you do it. So you're just entering your exec. Maybe you don't enter a page, just the actual exec number. Let's try that. But yeah, it's easier to build your own using delay times and copying presets and stuff than it is to actually use their built-in one. Because their built-in one also gives you, I don't like the look it gives, where it's just going in terms of things. Let's see, let's load this thing. Have you got anything to say, Lucas? Whilst we wait.
I don't I don't really know what this plugin is doing. Is it just it's doing what you normally would do with an effect, or
no, not really, because it goes once it finishes here. I'll go into the macro, and I've worked through it a couple times. It's that it creates loops, and then goes through each fixture and changes it to the presets, and then it saves it to an effect theoretically. I mean an exec. And then that exec is like has a speed master and shit, and you can change how fast it goes.
okay?
So now that it's done, let's see if it's saved. Yeah, there we go. So if I go into this, you can see it's just like assigning stuff, and then it creates sequences and does that, and it's weird. So if I bring it up, you can see it's actually doing it, but if it's a really bad speed. So let's see if I can change this to a rate master, then I should be able to. No. Oh yeah, it's a chase. I should be able to just go change the speed of it somewhere. So yeah, so it creates a chaser basically that just does this now, and that's all it is. So it's just creating a chaser that goes through it.
And where have you got the plugin from?
It's just a generic.
It's generic.
It's not generic. One of the predefined ones.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, so you can see if no what. So that's not So yeah, you can see it just goes through the colors, going to each fixture and assigning, or not assigning it, but it's basically created what's what I'm looking for? It's created a sequence where it goes through. It's a chaser, and then it goes through each thing. So you can see it literally goes and creates 240 cues, and just each cue is one more light added to the color, and that's why it just doesn't look nice if you look how it's running. So the way I do it, which is better than MA's, is because I've only got it set up for this, is I've got not a chaser here, but an exec, and you can see it goes through. It uses delays instead of changing it, so it's actually working with these colors and these delay times, so I can change the direction of it and all that kind of stuff. In that it isn't reliant on having to create the same thing like 30 times, and that's what this rate learn is for, that I can actually tap in the speed of it. So yeah, so that's the better way to do it. I might put a tutorial up. Yeah, so set delay value through. So let me show you how to create a delay quickly. You select your fixtures, you go to the parameters, so in this case color. It's color mix. You go to delay and you can enter it there. I use delay, and then you can enter it there, and then that's how to do it. And then if you store that, so if you actually take your fixture, so if I take spot sim here, and I change the color to lavender, for example, and then I set a delay of, for example, 0.25 through 0, and I store that to this. You can see if you go in first and say ignore exec time, if you do it, it'll actually go in that position, or not position, in that order. And if you have color mixing fixtures, you can also create cool things where if you like assign off times and stuff, in that you put it through, and as it's going out, you can do stuff like that. So yeah, that's probably the better way to do it. And if you don't know delay times, I think we did a tutorial on delay time. No, I did a tutorial on delay times. Yeah. So are there any other questions? Yeah, I'll actually go find that tutorial quickly because I created a nice, because pretty much exactly how I use it. So I'll go find that quickly. Lucas, have you got anything you want to add?
No. Looks nice and seems to work pretty good, so
It's got
props for the effects
999
generator.
views. No props. It's bad. Remember, I thought we were in agreement on this. We don't like it. It's this video has 999 views. That's pretty cool. I'm grabbing the link, but this is a link to a tutorial that I created on my channel about how to use macros with the delay times, in case you'd like to set something up. So I might as well just show you all of all that this is it's just a sequence, or not a sequence, a cue list with the trigger set to follow. And then if I go into it, you can see it's set to rate 2, and I've set speed div to 32 because that just makes it look better. And then I can tap in a BPM and it will assign it, and then obviously just runs through the cue list to create the looks, which is cool. This one I kind of broke when I was cloning though, so that's why it isn't working correctly. But yeah, that's how it. And then I've got that obviously in my temperature file. Alright, are there any other questions? German, no, wait, they're just, I don't know what that says. It's in German.
It's again just a statement,
Just like a
a
statement.
tip for another user, watching person.
Cool. Is there anything you want to cover still? Or are we coming to the end of this stream?
I think we should like end it at 8 p.m. my time.
So 9 o'clock. Yeah, so 9 for me.
Because there's not as much questions coming in as last time, so we shouldn't do it longer than people have questions.
Yeah.
So if there are still some questions, now is the last chance to ask them.
GrandMA, if you've got like any questions for us, but anything at all. No, I don't want to update Windows. I probably should, because there's that whole bug with everything. With all Intel-based CPUs, and that's probably what it's for. My laptop just died.
Cause of?
Battery.
Oh.
Just ran out of battery. I'm trying to think if there's anything else interesting that we could go over. In the meantime, whilst we're waiting,
let me look into my document of interesting stuff. Go over questions from older videos. Good idea. Very good idea, because there is indeed some questions that I haven't yet answered, like comments of our channel.
Or we can talk about House of Cards.
No. Let's stick to our topic.
Okay.
A lot of people have problems with configuring MA3D correctly. So I already did that later in the stream. But for everyone who does still have problems with configuring MA3D, I'll just show how it works. So you have your on PC. And in setup MA network control, you have to make sure that this IP that you are using for your actual activated session, that this IP is the same IP as the IP in MA3D, and that it is an IP in the same subnet. So if it's not the same IP, it can be the same in the same subnet. It will also work. So if you have MA3D on another PC in the same network, for example. So you have to make sure that this is in the same subnet as in MA3D. In sessions, this has to be the same address or in the same subnet. And when you made sure that this is true, you can start your session over here with create session, and then under MA network configuration 3D you can press add present, and your MA 3D should pop up here, and you can select session member yes and user administrator or whatever, and it should basically sync to MA 3D, and voila, there you are. So this is how it works. Some more German stuff here. Gehen nur bis 117 statt wie dem X-Parameter bis 225. Dadurch wird es etwas ruckeliger, wenn du den Fader langsam hochziehst. Moment, wenn es gerade um MIDI geht und wenn es gerade um die Genauigkeit von so Interfaces geht, dann bin ich mir ziemlich sicher, dass das 127 Stufen sind. Und ich bin mir auch ziemlich sicher, dass DMX bis 255 geht und nicht bis 225. Ja, das ist aber richtig. Du kannst im Prinzip nur in 2er DMX-Schritten gehen, wenn du einen Fader auf einem Interface hast. Das ist leider Gottes so. Genau, ja, also ich hatte jetzt noch nicht die Situation, dass diese minimale Ungenauigkeit zu Problemen geführt hat. Insofern, also für die meisten Sachen reicht das. Und selbst, also ich meine, Sachen, wo es wichtig ist, so wie Parameter, wo es wirklich wichtig ist, dass du genau sein kannst, die musst du in der Software nutzen, außer du gehst her und bastelst dir über ein paar Ecken, funktioniert das mit MIDI-OX, dass du praktisch einen Drehregler hast an einem MIDI-Gerät und du programmierst den so, dass der einen Befehl abschickt, wenn du ihn rechts drehst, und einen Befehl, wenn du ihn links drehst, und dann kannst du damit auch Parameter beeinflussen. Falls jemand interessiert, wie das genau funktioniert, können wir vielleicht auch mal noch ein Video drüber machen. Aber da gibt es, glaube ich, auch ganz gute Resources auf YouTube, weil ich glaube, ich habe das von irgendeinem YouTube-Video mal aufgegriffen, die zeigen, wie das funktioniert. Und da ist natürlich wichtig, dass du genau arbeiten kannst, aber da geht's sowieso, weil im Prinzip wird einfach nur bei dem Drehregler dann jede Raste schickt einen Befehl an OnPC, eben den Parameter Dimmer zum Beispiel +1 zu drehen. Und so lässt sich das dann machen. Genau. Ansonsten, ja, in der Regel reichen 127 Stufen aus, hätte ich jetzt gesagt. Okay. Ja, hast dich verrechnet. Ja, kein Problem.
How was your first time? How was your first time using a real console? That was actually, for me, the first time I used a console was obviously going straight from on PC, and I found no issues with it. I could still... The only thing I did have issues with was action buttons, because I didn't know yet you had to press direct action to just be able to click on the button. Because in MA I was used to just clicking on the actual like thing in the corner. But yeah, if you just move from a on PC to a real console, and that's what I like about MA, because it's very hard to get access to their consoles considering how expensive they are. So the fact that they give you a resource like MA on PC, which allows you to trade and get into the like mindset of using a real console, is pretty cool.
My experience with firstly using the console was quite funny, because I used to using keyboard shortcuts, and the first thing basically I did with the real console was opening up the keyboard, and I found myself really often using keyboard shortcuts instead of the actual physical buttons, because I wasn't used to it. That was pretty weird, because you would think the workflow should be way better if you just use the actual dedicated buttons. But of course, yeah, it took a time to get used to it, and in this time I obviously
Honestly,
sometimes moved to the keyboard and pressed some shortcuts.
If I was thrown onto a console right now and I had to program a show in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I would be like more happy to put a laptop in a session and program on there, because I haven't done enough work on consoles that I'm fully comfortable with the button positions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also the cool thing, is you can just, if you want to, if you've only worked on PC and now you're thrown onto a console, if you want to program and you find you're slow on the console, whereas you were much faster on PC, you can just put into a session and program there. I think that's pretty cool.
And it's really amazing. Like, I think it's better to be fast on PC than being blazing fast on the console, because being fast when programming, like, you can be everywhere with your laptop sitting in the train or somewhere, and you can program. And if you have all the shortcuts down, this is going really fast. Of course, on the console, it could go theoretically way faster, but if you never really worked with on-PC but worked with the console, going to on-PC is way, way harder than going to the console from the on-PC.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I've downloaded, like, Camsys and Avo's software, and I couldn't figure it out. And I think I tried to learn other consoles, and I flopped horrendously. It's just that none of them actually give, like, if you download the Camsys stuff, it's stupid confusing as how to, like, unless I'm just retarded as to how to actually get into the software and work with it. So
the Camsys guys will say the same about MA.
Yeah. I think it's, honestly though, whenever, like, I've used at shows, I've used both a Avo desk and a Camsys desk, but there were other people programming it, and I was kind of just hanging around, and then I operated for a while. And the workflow, I think people coming to MA are going to be like, well, no, MA's workflow sucks. But, like, having seen all these consoles and ECC, I have to say that MA is the best. And that's not because MA pays me.
What? MA pays you?
Well, I send me a birthday present, so isn't that, like, if they send me hey, MA, if you're listening, you know when my birthday is again, if you want to send some more presents. But yeah, so I think it's the easiest to customize and that kind of stuff compared to the other. In terms of just setting up your screens, you can do the most. And I mean, macros, not everyone has macros for some reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just using the basic functions of MA, just working with presets and doing everything from a blank show file. Of course, I did that a lot as well, working from a blank show file. But always, if there's a thing that I do, like, the second or third time in a row, I already start about thinking to program a macro for it, because I'm really into that optimization thing.
Yeah, because if you can use a macro, rather do. What was I about to say now?
Don't know.
I wanted to say something really insightful, but I couldn't. I meet a woman who, for a lot of people, it's once you learn one console, it's hard to go and learn another one, and then you don't want to because you're so stuck in your ways of that one console that you try to do stuff on the other console and it just doesn't work.
You get used to your workflow and you don't want to change. That's
yeah. I think it's like you find one console and you should just stick with it, learn it through and through. I mean, like, for rental houses, if you have if you have knowledge with multiple consoles, they probably like you more. But if you're just, like, designing, or if you're just touring, knowing one console is way better. Just specify that on all your riders.
Yeah.
You're good to go. Any last questions for the last couple minutes before we call it a stream? What was I trying to say? Damn. The worst thing that's happened when you want to say something and then you can't.
Yeah. Last time we had basically everything the way around. Too much questions.
Yeah, and now it's like too few.
Yeah. But this time there's in general it's more viewers in average, but you guys seem to really like to just watch instead of writing questions.
Another tip for all of those. Yeah, you can. It's just you do have certain limitations using the MA1 hardware, and I don't think it's all hardware. I know you can only use the NSP. You can't use the original NSP. And do the consoles give you a universe out of on PC? The MA1 consoles.
Okay, so I didn't knew that you can use MA1 to output.
I don't think you can. I've never seen that before. I know the NSP2 can.
Yeah.
But here I'm going.
It has an ArtNet node mode. in which it will
Yeah. But I
enable.
don't think the other hardware does give you here. I'm looking at parameter expansion now. MA NSP. The only on
But
MA's
I can
actual.
use
Oh,
GrandMA2 for a show too. Yeah, you can.
you can, yeah. But here, even if I'm looking on MA's website, and they don't say anything about MA1 hardware giving
There is
you
a website where
expansion.
there's give me a second.
Because here it has the NSP listed, but all the MA2 on PC stuff doesn't say anything about the older stuff. Or if you get the old grey version, you can get 512 parameters out of the 2-port node on PC.
Okay, so
Yeah,
in this
he said there's a
list
website.
there's only MA2 consoles, the on-PC command wing, fader wing, and the nodes. But there's
And the NSP.
there's the NSP, but there's no word about the old console being able to output to enable parameters.
Have you
So right
the
here,
MIDI and
parameter count.
Have you actually used that, or is that something you read? Because as far as I know, it's only the NSP that'll give you, and even then, it's only like the NSP2, correct? Are they not two
Yeah, I
different
think it's only the
NSPs?
NSP since a certain firmware version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because even if I'm looking on MA's own website, they state nothing about the old MA ones actually doing anything.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that is correct. But yeah, if you have an MA1, you might as well just use that for your show. Then working with, yeah, that's what I was looking, Lucas, and yeah, I haven't got anything there. Yes, if you know how it works. Yeah, if you're sure about that, then if I ever come across an MA1, I shall test it. Are you sure it was like an actual MA1 console or the NSP?
Okay, so
Because that's
he
a
says
rather
he
interesting thing.
used it. And how does it work? Like, how have you go over to how are you configuring this? Like, is there a certain mode that the GrandMA1 has to be in, like the NSP,
Yeah.
or how does it work?
Just like a Demon ZK. Yeah, we both occasionally do concerts with I've only ever done busking shows where I was like the house guy and bands were coming in, and then I had to program a show where I could just busk. I know like a lot of LDs, what they do is they create like a master queue list per song, and then they have macros that select different executors and go to different pages and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's obviously if you're working for one band, you can go and program all the individual songs. But if you're a house guy, you can't. You have to busk. You just don't get much of an option because you generally won't. Either you won't know what they're going to play, or you won't have time to sit and program everything.
Okay, so the guy says he actually already used it. GrandMA1.
That's interesting. I'll see if I can't like get my hands on an MA1 sometime this year and sometime. Recently, remind me about this, Lucas. If I ever say I'm going to mess around with an MA1,
I already
test
messed
that
around
out.
with the one light, and it was way before I started with MA2. It was like I had a free noon, and I thought I could do something, and I knew that guy from the rental house who back in the day had that GrandMA1, and I asked him if I could just meet him in the shop and just try to figure out that console. And this took 5 to 6 hours for me just to being able to actually put the dimmer at full and scroll through some colors. Like, no shit, this was complicated back at the time, but I was way younger for my in my defense, so I don't know.
If you could ask your friend how he set it up and like email us or just put it in the comments of one of our videos, it would actually be pretty interesting to see because as far as we mentioned, as far as we knew, it's only the NSP. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know how. Yeah.
So if there's no more questions, I would say
I guess we'll call it.
we would call the second stream on this channel a success. And basically, we try to do this every month, and every like first Friday in the month, we always try to make this happen. And we really would enjoy to get some feedback from you guys on the Discord server, in the comments, or in the live chat right now. If you like this concept, and if you have some ideas how we could make things better, because we really like to. As you can see, we added the chat to the stream this time. We added the intro, at least we tried. It failed, I know. But we are really trying to improve this experience, and we would really like to get your feedback.
Just one more question that's come through. We did answer a question earlier about MA and Lua, in that I no longer use plugins. I used to. I think, Lucas, do you use plugins still, or have you started moving away from those as well?
At the moment, I'm developing 1 or 2 plugins that I wanna build to just automatically do color picker stuff. And like my initial idea was to write a plugin that can build up my whole show file from nothing. Just put the plugin into an empty show file, run it, input all your data that you like have for the current show, and it will automatically build all the stuff you need. And I wanted to distinguish between for theater use and for like busking and live use. But this plugin will be in development for a long time, I think. And I don't know if I really want to do it like this. Like a template show file with plugin integration, but not a show file that is only built with a plugin would be more efficient, I think. So I'm currently trying to use plugins. Ethan is mainly working with macros and not really with plugins.
But we might be bringing out tutorials on plugins. That's to be decided. What kind of stage look do you guys do? I'm a fan of blue, so I just like have a button that just sets the. I wouldn't set all outs, but like maybe a backwash or a front wash or something, just to like a dark blue, so that people can kind of see the guys coming out onto stage, but it isn't showing that much yet.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So it's kind of just barely lighting.
There's a plugin that generates the color picker. Yeah, there's a plugin from Jason Chiaffo on that topic already, and I try to incorporate the images into basically into a similar plugin, because Jason Chiaffo's plugin only builds the layout view and is also able to do all the macro behind the scenes stuff, but it is not able to build all the images into the layout view, and is not able to do this responsive thing that you can copy images and things. And I wanted to do this with a Lua plugin, and I already know how it works, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and program it to the end, so it's not finished. And there are some more questions. What were your biggest shows you've ever done for?
Mine was
I think we had this question in the last stream. Like, my biggest show was probably about 40 movers and some LED stuff. Yeah.
I'm doing the maths in my head of mine. Mine would have been 8, 16, 24, 30. Mine would have been about 36, 37, 38, sorry, movers. And a whole lot of LEDs as well. So, and a whole lot of generics for some reason. That like an entire truss worth of generics. That's like they have pointies and shit. And then, yeah. So we unfortunately aren't at the point where we're doing like really big like 200, 300, 400 fixture shows yet.
Yeah.
One day.
But that's no problem. If you can help you guys, this is already a great thing.
Makes us happy.
Yeah. Okay, so I just read that you guys are meeting up on the Discord. Really happy to see that. And yeah, is there any question we missed?
I don't think so. Happy New Year to you too, Julius. We hope to see you next time. What just came through there?
Okay. So if you guys have further questions, as these guys already, mentioned, there's a Discord server.
Discord.
Just go there and write them, and I hope that not only we guys are able to help you there, we hope that we all can help you. So I really like the concept of a community where everyone can put something into it if he has the knowledge to answer a question. So I would not only like the guys with questions to go onto the Discord server, but only you guys who are really experienced with the software and try to help others. So thanks for that, and yeah, that was
the stream.
the stream. Bye bye.
Cheers.